Well, I think that if you look at it like this, I think King Kong is actually a lizard person.
Ooh. I mean that I can see where you're coming from. What I think is more relevant is that Godzilla breath has been proven to melt steel beams.
God damn it, you guys. This podcast is filling our heads with garbage.
Running fastest, kill off it. It's futuristic, like Carnac the Magnificent. Rewind your VCR, rewind your cassette. Nintendo pilot, flying up ahead. Captain's log, John Luke, Bogard. Bubba sea of life, the weapon covered child. Out on your street tonight. Don't matter how loud you gotta shout it. Out on your street tonight.
3, 2, 1, March.
I loved that at the beginning of the movie, the title card sort of, for lack of a better comparison, the Reign of Fire opening sequence where they give you a bunch of, like, they try to cram details about previous movies into one movie.
And it was all so fucking silly.
I was
laughing the whole time.
It was like a March Madness Final Four tournament. And at the end, it was like defeated, Kong versus Godzilla as the two that have made it out of this bracket that the monsters organized for themselves. Amazing. That
so
set the tone in such a good way. And I was like, yep, Rev, here we go, baby. Which is also what I say when I go to church.
Oh.
Rev, here we go, baby.
Ah.
Welcome to Contextual Deviants. I stole
fuck it. You want to do it? You want to do the show?
Yeah,
David?
give me the pants. I'll put them on.
Fucking shit, dude. This is our Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah. Oh, fun. Hey, welcome to Contextual Deviants. My name's Christian Hagen, and I have two best friends, and their names are Godzilla and King Kong. Is this how it usually goes?
Yeah, more or less.
Sort of, yeah. I'm Mecha Godzilla.
Oh, hello. Thank you for
because
coming
I
on
was
the
made
show.
in a lab.
Very true. Only a specimen as you could have been made in a lab.
Welcome to Contextual Deviants. My name is Christian Hagen. Each episode, we watch a movie, and then we talk about it through a series of randomly generated critical contexts given to us via our contextual computer that's going to lead us on a whole bunch of different pathways and travels. We're going to go to different parts of the world, critically speaking, and guiding us on that tour will be a robot. And joining me on this adventure into the Hollow Earth are my dearest friends and co-hosts, Misters Matthew Bond.
Hello.
And David Gutchie.
I'm the King Kong one.
Oh, okay. Well, you are the hairiest.
Yeah, and the chestiest.
Oh.
I just feel like that was a really important part of him, of his whole deal.
His tits?
Yeah.
Okay. So for this week... So, folks, this episode, we are doing our second film of 2021.
What a year.
The newly released HBO Max original that will eventually be leaving HBO Max and then be, whatever. It's Godzilla versus Kong. The two biggest movie monsters of all time punching the shit out of each other.
Are they, like, physically, are they the biggest?
Somebody did a well, no, because... No.
Well, this Kong is the biggest version of Kong that's been out.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool to know.
I'm trying to think of I saw a comparison of the various Godzillas, and I think the 2014 one was the biggest one.
I love that. Sliding scale, baby. Who knows how big it is.
Diets change and your body fluctuates.
Yeah. We don't know. Old Hollow Earth God things probably change in different ways than I do.
Yeah. Listen, if you can explain to me the size of Kong, then you should also be able to explain to me what happened when he put that axe in the floor in the throne room of this movie and it created a glowing symbol of Godzilla around him, which was cool as shit. No idea what
Cool
it was.
as shit. I'll tell you what it was, but later.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's a good tease. Folks, listen up for that. David had an idea this episode. David, you said you would like to summarize this movie in one sentence. Can you do it?
Well, it's hard to say.
Can you summarize enough of this movie in one sentence to feel comfortable saying that you've done that?
I can give you one sentence that summarizes, I think, pretty much better than any IMDb.
Okay, and just so we know that it's one long sentence, can you just say the word comma out loud when there should be a comma?
You got it, bud. You got
Thank you.
If there's a semicolon in there.
Godzilla vs. Kong. A bunch of scientists trick King Kong into going underground so they can pair the planet's core with Godzilla via Bluetooth, which makes him 420 blaze it and blast a hole down for King Kong to jump through so they can have a big showdown, and it ends in the big monkey hero falling unconscious, while some other people sneak around and learn things that are pretty much exclusively plot adjacent until they discover a big robot Godzilla that doesn't work until evil scientists put Godzilla ghosts in it. War Machine Godzilla fights regular Godzilla until small human ASL friend wakes Kong up, convinces him that the Saruman-style fires of industry are the true enemy, and the monkey-lizard team-up of our dreams finally occurs.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, that was...
Wow.
That was this movie.
Damn,
Yeah.
David.
Take a drink.
Damn, David. Take a drink after that. Damn. Wow.
Yeah, sip that wine.
Yeah, you deserved it.
I earned it.
You earned that wine. Wow. Un-kong-scious, by the way.
That
You're
killed
welcome.
him.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
When he fell
Beautiful.
down, I immediately was like, he's unconscious. I was like, well, I have to put that in the episode somewhere.
I was a little confused when Godzilla blew that hole in the ground because they had already established that we were going into the center of the hollow earth where gravity would reverse, which they showed, and it was hilarious. And then Godzilla blows that hole, and I'm like, is he on the opposite side of the earth? Are we to then believe that King Kong has then jumped from one end of the earth to the other through the core because of the like fluctuating gravity and is totally fine?
He's totally cool. He's down. He's fine.
It's great. It's beautiful.
Yeah. It really was disorienting when I realized that they were saying that. What you just said, I was like, oh, I guess that's what's happening. Cool. I'm in.
Man, the Hollow Earth stuff is so confusing, but
It truly is.
Again, I don't think this movie takes place on Earth.
Little Earth. Maybe
I think it takes place on another planet that they also call Earth with other like similar Earth things, but it's got a completely different physics, a completely different layout, obviously,
Yeah, I like
different
that theory.
geology, geography.
It's a good theory.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So
You
that's
know what, guys? Now that David has set this up with it, sorry, you say what you were going to say.
well. I was just gonna say I think that it's helpful for us to sort of give a little rundown because if some folks out there haven't seen it yet but want to, and for some reason, which I understand, this is gold that we're sitting on right here. They want to listen to this podcast before watching the movie. That's awesome. And I'm glad you're here to do that. I recommend watching it and then coming back to this podcast, but you do you.
Yeah. And you got, probably when this comes out, you got 2 weeks to watch it on HBO Max before
That's
it goes
true.
away.
Get in there.
That's true. Get in it. You can do this. You can do this.
We believe in you.
David, can you just real quick reread the part about hooking up to the Earth via Bluetooth? Because I loved that, and I had a really hard...
A bunch of scientists trick King Kong into going underground so that they can pair the planet's core with Godzilla via Bluetooth, which makes him 420 blaze it and blast a hole for King Kong to jump through.
Okay.
That made me understand the movie probably better than the movie.
I guess otherwise I can't really say why he did that thing.
Why was that happening? Like, that was what
Why is that
actually
happening?
made me realize that I wanted to write a summary. I was like, why did they do this? And the only thing I could think of is that they wanted Godzilla to be mad. Like, that was it. That's all I could think of. Like, I don't get it.
So this is what my one sentence was going to be.
Okay.
Furry boy fights scaly boy until they both fight metal boy.
That's amazing.
Succinct.
It's true, though.
Yeah.
all of it's true.
See, that's why I love this idea. Because, like, especially with weird-ass movies, there's so many ways to, like, sum them up. But I love a quick one.
Okay.
That's my Tinder bio.
All right, here's an abstract summary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The past
Yeah, so sit down.
Sorry, go on. You were doing one.
Various scientists, military experts, teenagers, podcasters, and conspiracy theories all work together in order to venerate the past against the technological advancements of the future that threaten to create a dominance that will take over the natural world in favor of robots and human-controlled machines. And they use the two biggest natural creatures they can find to achieve that goal through various circumstances. I fucked up by the end, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good like thematic overview.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because everyone in the movie is in their own way. If you think about it as... I thought of it as Kong and Godzilla as future and past, but then when Mechagodzilla came up, I was like, oh, here we go. I see now.
And so did they. They were like, wait, I see now. It's this shit. We're not future and past, it's this guy.
It's this guy. They're ancient enemies, but they're ancient. Okay, but we're not ancient enemies. We're ancient friends.
Aww.
So let's do a context, I guess, is my point.
That seems like a good point to me.
Real quick, do you think we're going to get the sequel that was promised, like, 20 years ago, where we finally see Denzella and King Kong face off? Because apparently King Kong ain't got nothing on him.
Well...
No? Okay.
No.
No.
Asked and answered. All right. End the call.
You know what? Honestly, if these movies become big enough, they could try to get Denzel in there. That would be pretty fun.
Yeah. If Denzel gets big enough, he could just fight King Kong and Godzilla.
Yeah, Denzella versus Kong.
Yes, if he physically becomes large enough to fight King Kong. Yeah, that could totally happen.
Oh!
You know what? I'm going to do it. If you had to put an anthropomorphic animal somewhere in this movie, where would you put it? Now, obviously, we've got some kaiju we're working with here.
Yeah.
My point would be, let's try and think of where you would put an anthropomorphized animal that interacts with the human characters and is not, like, giant monster-sized.
Yep. Okay, so my first question is Godzilla... And you know what, and Kong, are either of them what you would consider anthropomorphic animals? Because I think some of their facial expressions were, but I wouldn't say that about Kong as readily as Godzilla. Because Kong, like, that's just how an ape's face can look. Like, that's fine. Like, all of the stuff that he does is stuff that ape does. Like, that wasn't out of character. But Godzilla felt like he smiled a little bit too much to be a regular lizard.
He's
like,
a big smiley lizard.
He had some like, I'm gonna narrow my eyes and turn around,
and some surprised looks too.
Yeah, and some surprised looks. Like lizards don't have that. Come on now. So I think maybe I could make an argument that Godzilla is slightly anthropomorphic. Not totally, absolutely.
I was going to make the exact opposite argument, actually, because Kong, obviously, he does a lot of facial features, and of course, we are all derived from a common ancestor who fought in a great war against the Godzillas.
It was King Kong's dad. Yeah,
it was King Kong's dad,
Donkey.
King Kong Un.
It was what's that guy's name? Lanky Kong. I think it was Lanky Kong.
It was
his dad.
It was Funky Kong.
Funky shit. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I got my timelines mixed up.
And his brother Diddy.
Wasn't there a Grandpa one?
Yeah. What's the old Kong?
Probably Grandpa or like.
It's probably Grandpa Kong.
Wait, Cranky Kong.
Cranky Kong.
Fuck, man, Cranky Kong. What a good joke.
For folks who haven't seen it, this is all from Kong Skull Island.
Yep.
But I was gonna say, because obviously he's ape-like, so he's got the different facial features and stuff. But he also uses tools, as demonstrated by the literal axe that apparently his giant ancestors created.
Yeah, dog.
Which means that Kong is not only a giant version of an ape; he's a slightly evolved version of a giant ape.
It's awesome.
His ancestors created tools and a giant throne that he could sit on.
I think he created that. Just for him.
You think
just for him? Yeah. I think he made
down in the hollow earth.
Just for him.
He's got so much time on his hands.
Kong, just for him.
Aww.
Oh yeah, he has a little butt groove on his throne.
So nice.
It's like he sits down and he's like, there it is. It's like your favorite chair.
So I think maybe there's an argument to be made then for both of them being marginally anthropomorphic, but nowhere near a character from our favorite movie, Over the Hedge, or something like that.
Everyone's favorite movie, Over the Hedge.
I mean humanity's.
Society's, yeah.
Over the society. As we've all agreed, everybody took a poll, and it came down to tournament style, just like the opening of this movie, March Madness bracket, came down to Over the Hedge and the B movie, and we all voted, and it did marginally come out to be Over the Hedge. So,
wow,
here we are.
Oddly, for this podcast, it is like our number one favorite movie of this podcast with Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because we watch Die Hard like every week.
Which was a separate bracket that we did.
We have watched so much Die Hard for this podcast.
But Over the Hedge, that's the Bruce Willis vehicle that we subscribe to.
I forgot Bruce Willis did a voice in that.
He was the heart and soul of that movie, Christian. How dare you?
But speaking of things that have hearts and souls, let's consider an anthropomorphic animal.
Anthropomorphic animal. Okay.
So here's my thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Give.
We've got giant monkey.
Mm-hmm.
We've got giant lizard.
Yeah.
We've got giant robot lizard.
Yeah. What's the other family of animals?
Giant bats. So let's think of an animal that's not one of those.
Spider.
That's normal size. Okay, but a good one.
No, spiders are cool.
No, let's do one that doesn't scare me.
Moose.
Please. Okay. You want to put a
or
talking
horse?
moose? Do you want it
what
to
do you
be
think?
Like I'm thinking
pick right now. No, I'm forcing you.
Size.
Pick right now. Horse or moose?
Horse? You're putting horse on me?
Horse or moose?
You're forcing this horse on me?
I'm horsing it.
Okay. Or moose.
Or moose.
You
know what? Just for variety's sake, I'm going to vote moose.
Yeah, same.
All right, fair enough. I'm going to vote for horse because it doesn't matter.
That's 2-1. You're outvoted. It's moose.
I think the 3 kinds of animals. Well, no, the 4. But you said spiders. No, 5. There are 5 kinds of animals. Write this down, everyone. There are 5 kinds of animals: monkey kind, lizard kind, creepy crawly kind, robot kind, and cloppy kind. And I think you know which category every animal fits into. If you think that you figured out that there's one that's not in there, come at me because you're wrong. And I think
birds.
Cloppy kind would be good. Oh, you're right. Fuck me. There's 6.
Well, you can take out robots if you wanted to.
No, we can't take out robots.
All right. You're right.
Who else? Who else would convince the monkey types and the lizard types to join forces?
Precisely.
But
it's
it's
an evolutionary role. It's so
This
important.
is what Pokemon is about.
Exactly. Yes. Cloppy type is weak against Flappy type. So yeah, you're right. There are 6, and Flappy type is a very important type, and I'm really sorry to all the bird people out there. You could make the argument that Floppy and Flappy type are separate, and that fish are separate enough from lizards, but that's beside the point. There are 6.5 kinds of animals, and I think one that runs around on 4 legs would be pretty fun. An anthropomorphic horse, very exciting. What about the horse from Over the Garden Wall? What's he doing? Could he be in this movie?
He's probably still working for that tea company.
That's true.
He's got a good tea job. I don't know if he wants to give that up.
Does have a good tea job.
And he's spooked by ghosts. I can't imagine what would happen if he saw a giant monster.
That's true. Maybe he just has a fear of the supernatural, though. So, are you thinking? Let's put a moose in this movie. Let's do it.
Okay. If you give a moose to Godzilla versus Kong,
an anthropomorphic moose.
That's the thing. Is it has to be anthropomorphized. So it has to be walking on 2 legs. It has to be able to talk.
What? Okay. I have a thought.
I'm ready.
So I would first of all put this anthropomorphized creature with the kids. So that could be more of a classic child adventure with
Definitely.
an anthropomorphized.
Love the idea of a moose
of
breaking into a high-tech facility. Very fun. Very fun.
Super fun.
And then I was thinking that we'd take a page out of the Mario Brothers movie.
Always a good idea.
And we have it be one of the skull crawlers. Like, those little lizard things that, like, Kong fights.
Okay.
But it's one that's that was a human experimented on to like kind
Yeah.
of split the genes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so it's just actually like a nice person that's just kind of also a
Hell yeah.
skull crawler that helps them break in the facility because he
That's
knows
good.
the facility backwards and front.
Here's the best part of that. You can tie it into the plot so easily because, of course, Bernie, the guy who has a podcast about all of the weird Titan stuff that goes on in the world, knows where that guy thing being
Yeah.
lives, and maybe even is friends with them because, like, he done research and maybe had him on his podcast before, like that. You know.
Wait, so are we assuming that this human skullcrawler hybrid is just hanging out in the world?
I mean, so is Godzilla, apparently.
He works at a Subway. He's a sandwich artist.
In a world that can have the CNN ticker headline, Godzilla no longer monster Jesus or whatever.
No longer Titan savior, but very
Okay,
close.
sure.
Yours is funnier.
In a world that can have that, of course you can go in Subway and see a weird clicky guy. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I like this. What if they like spliced his DNA with like Gilbert Gottfried, the actor?
Like in
so it
canon,
and so it
in
has
the
Gilbert
movie.
Gottfried's voice, and that's how we get Gilbert Gottfried in to
Yes.
this movie.
Finally, the studio has an excuse to get Gilbert Gottfried, who refuses to be in these movies.
Hello!
Famously
Oh my God, it's
refuses.
Kong! I can't do a good Gilbert Gottfried.
Honestly, that
better
was
than I
good
can
enough
do.
for me to know how good it would be to have Gilbert in this series. Wow. Yeah, I like that a
or-
lot. It feels
Or
like
we
a,
just like...
go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
It just feels like a really good way of using Apex and the science and all of the experimentation to excuse something that would almost always otherwise be magical realism. Like
Yeah.
an anthropomorphic animal in quotes. I think that's the easiest way to get there.
And we could, I mean, if we also wanted to just replace a character that's already in it, we could have it be Julian Dennison's character is that skullcrawler human
Ooh,
hybrid.
yeah,
And he's just friends with Millie Bobby Brown's character.
Yeah.
Like,
because she'd
which-
be into it too. She'd be his friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She already dealt with Godzilla in a previous...
Mm-hmm.
Well, never mind. There were no other movies before this.
That's right. We haven't kept that rule in a long time, but yes, thank you for observing.
Observing.
Twist on that idea. What if it's the guy who hosts the podcast?
That'd be... Oh, my God.
And they don't know that. They think it's just
yeah.
a dude. They track him
Yeah,
down.
that's
Turns out
good.
he's a monster. That's how he
Yes.
knows all this shit.
I love
Yes.
that. So we
Even
wait
better,
probably
yes.
later in the movie to see the guy, like to have the reveal of who he is. You hear him on the podcast a lot, and these two kids are listening to him all the time, and then they finally go to his house, and it's like, who's it going to be? And it's this like half human, half monster guy. Oh, that's awesome.
That's
Yeah,
so good.
That's really fun.
Who's hosting this podcast, and then it explains why he like drinks bleach and stuff, and it's like it's
just part of his actual diet.
It's part of his actual
Yeah,
diet,
he
and
loves
so, and so he's like, "Oh wait, you're oh no, don't do that. That you can't do that.
That's for me.
That's
It's-
for me.
It's for me.
That's a me thing."
What have my
That's
listeners
really
been doing? He's horrified.
Oh God, I should have been way clearer about that. This half human, half monster genetic hybrid who hosts a podcast.
But then also has the harmonica like the guy from Mario Bros.
That's how you know he's the good guy.
Yeah.
It's because he's got the harmonica.
It's so good.
That was canonically Toad, I believe. That was Toad in the Super Mario Brothers movie who was turned into a Goomba.
That's too much for me to take right now.
Yeah.
I can't think about that movie too much.
Yeah. The only other thing I could maybe think of is like if there was like a bird, like a chatty bird that could hang out with like Rebecca Hall and stuff. Or here's another one that I was
that's
thinking
not
about.
Bad. That's not bad.
So the Hollow Earth is stupid, but it's also great because it's an entire world that exists inside of our
right.
world that technically connects to our world that we could that could literally have anything, including some evolved animal species.
Hell yeah.
That maybe knows everything about Kong's species and like watches over that temple with the big monkey door so that like only the monkey people can get into it, and Kong is like the last of the monkey people, or whatever. He's the Kong. He's Kong.
He's the Kong, baby.
And so when Kong opens
Nobody
it up,
bows
there's
to
like
Kong.
Kong bows.
No, wait, sorry. She wasn't saying
everyone bows.
Kong has no subjects.
I mean, they are all dead. They got
Kong
locked
is a
down by
false
tsunami.
ruler.
Christian, you are so right. And the movie has given us that already. It's just hiding in plain sight, much like the truth about Godzilla and the truth about Titans and all of that. In my notes, I have written down an observation that I made when they are first zooming across the landscape in the hollow earth and those cool spaceships following Kong along, and he's bouncing and he's rolling. He's looking for his monkey room where he can find his big sword that he will stab into the ground and activate Godzilla's Bluetooth and whatever. Before that, he's just running, and he runs over a bunch of crabs, and those crabs like come out of the ground, and they're like click, 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 and then those crabs start getting attacked by a different like Gila monster kind of guy. And as one of those crabs gets swooped up by that Gila monster kind of guy, it says in perfect English, "Oh no!" I promise.
What?
I'm not kidding.
That cannot possibly
you
be true.
can
Is that
go-
one of the humans watching that?
No, you can
saying
go
it?
back and
Okay.
watch. I mean, I'm exaggerating that it's in perfect English, but go back and watch that and just say, "Oh, I wonder what they're saying." And if you listen, it just says like, "Oh no." It's like saying, "Oh no," because they
Okay,
vocalized and it goes like, "Oh no." And I was like, "Wait, did it just say 'oh no'?" And I went back and listened. And I was like, "Yep, it did." It said,
This is
"Oh
now.
no."
Now I have a reason to rewatch this movie other than any other reason I was going to come
It's
up with.
so
But now I
good.
have to like actively watch.
It's so
that part.
funny. It made me laugh so hard because
I
like
hope that's true.
Obviously, whoever the voice actor was that was doing the punch up of, which was probably supposed to be what it said, accidentally got too close to the idea of "oh no," and it sounds way too similar to "oh no" than it should. It's my favorite thing. So I think there is an anthropomorphic animal.
Yeah,
in this
crab
movie.
people now.
Crab
people
people.
are they're the ones.
Yeah, I love
That's
that.
fun.
So that
love
is
that.
fun. You're absolutely right. Thank you, Godzilla versus Kong. for
Honestly,
that
there's a
gift.
lot of ways you can fit in an anthropomorphic animal into this movie, and it would only be slightly sillier than the movie as it is.
Yes.
That's a weirdly good point. Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't take much. They made a supercomputer out of a giant fucking
my God.
monster's
Like-
fucking dead brain.
Well, see, the key is we haven't been using glow sticks to make computers. They figured it out.
Or those tubes where when you swing them it goes woo, 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 woo.
Which is the
A
scientific name for those tubes. Those
No,
tubes
dude,
that when you swing them,
I actually wrote a stand-up bit about those tubes where I was like, you know those things that go like woo, woo, woo? The things that we can only call that because what the fuck else are you gonna call them?
Wait, is that the same as the ones that go ow?
Ow. Actually, no, that's what the bit was about. It was about those.
Okay.
Ow.
the things that, God damn it. Those.
Okay.
What computers are made of.
Yeah. Let's do another context.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting. How would this be different if it was made 20 years earlier?
Oh shit. Okay,
So
we
this
have.
would have been 2001.
This is the only time a movie has been made about a big lizard fighting a big monkey. So there's no reason to try to imagine if someone might have made a King Kong movie in 2001 because it can't have happened somewhere
well,
close
okay,
to
so
that.
but let's think about this. Within, I think 3 years before this, in '98, was when they did the Matthew Broderick Godzilla movie. And was King Kong 2006? 2005. So only 4 years
Yep.
after this would have been when then the Peter Jackson Kong comes out. So it's not physically impossible for there to have been a Godzilla versus
Another
Kong made
Godzilla
20
versus-
years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. The table was laid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kong would have been a lot smaller.
Yeah.
A lot smaller.
Well,
He had
so
to
was
scale-
Godzilla in the '98 version.
That's true.
He was the smallest version of Godzilla in the entire. I saw somebody did a size
little.
comparison of like if you compared Godzilla to the size of the various buildings and stuff.
Yeah.
He's actually like smaller than some of the buildings that in previous Godzilla movies he would have been like stomping on.
Wow.
There's actually, I think it was Godzilla 2000 that came out and opens with that Godzilla just full on murdering the Godzilla from 1998 because it just wasn't actually Godzilla.
Whoa! Holy shit! I didn't know that, but that's amazing.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Wow. So it could have been. And you know what's weird is I don't think any of the themes of this movie would have to be changed. Like this, I don't think this movie really says anything that movies weren't saying in 2000. Like it's not like it's a hyper environmentally conscious movie in a way that 2000 wasn't as much. It's not like it's a hyper racially conscious movie. Like I don't think there's anything that this movie does that movies weren't doing 20 years ago. Like
the closest thing is the deaf girl and like the representation of her and the sign language and like
probably be fewer women in the cast.
There would almost certainly
that's
be
right. Yeah, the woman with
especially.
sunglasses is a guy with sunglasses. That's
like Eliza Gonzalez or Isa Gonzalez. Is it Eliza or Isa? I can never remember.
Isa. There's no L. I was thrown off by that too.
This happens to be every time. Isa Gonzalez, Rebecca Hall, the deaf child,
although
Millie Bobby Brown.
I think Rebecca Hall's played by Julianne Moore. Like that character existed in 2000 cinema. Like
that's true.
Compassionate female scientist. Like Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
she's. Had that, you know. Like,
I was gonna say she's similar to Jurassic Park's.
Laura Dern.
Oh my God!
I mean,
Laura
Dern. I don't remember her.
I cannot
character's
believe how
name,
I spaced on Laura Dern
for
a second.
Yeah.
I know. I feel deeply ashamed.
I think mainly Kyle Chandler's kid would have been a son instead of a daughter, probably.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Or she would have been way more annoying, like way more like whiny and like nah, come on, instead of like I've got my own ideas of how to do things, Dad. I have my own agency, and it's not just shitting on you. It's my own ideas, and they're dumb because I'm a teenager, but like you know.
Or if they had kept the gender, I think probably what the plot would have been was, but I love Godzilla and I feel things about him or something, rather than I have a compelling podcast reason to like.
Oh no, no. Here's what it is. Here's what the 2001 version of Millie Bobby Brown's character would be. She's an environmental activist.
Okay, yeah.
Whose dad, Kyle Chandler, works for the government. Who like knows what's really going on, and she's just like a teenager, so she's super naive. She goes to like whatever with Godzilla. She gets trapped in a situation, like a dangerous situation, and Kyle Chandler has to go and like rescue her. Like she's a damsel in distress, and then Godzilla ends up saving her in some way, and that's what makes Kyle Chandler realize that Godzilla is cool.
He is cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Godzilla's still cool. That's the good part. Is in 2001, Godzilla's still cool, baby.
Well, because Godzilla's supposed to be the good guy.
He is the good guy. Anyway, yeah.
Except in this movie, he's kind of an asshole the whole time.
A little bit. He almost is like a little bit of a troll. Here's a question about that, and then we go back to what it would have been like in 2001. I think it kind of fits in. Godzilla is speculated to have attacked the Apex facility because he knows that they're making the Mechagodzilla. How true do we think that is? Because that seems ridiculous to me. That Godzilla saw somehow and was like, no, I'm going to attack other bases of this facility.
He does detect like radiation and stuff, and I think when he can detect that it's like a weapon grade level, I think that.
Okay. And I think he might have like a psychic connection to Ghidorah.
That.
Okay.
I think that's what it was, because they were using Ghidorah's brain to upload his consciousness into the Mechagodzilla, which is why the Mechagodzilla was able to go rogue, which is insane.
That was the Godzilla ghost part of it that I didn't understand.
This was a literal ghost in the shell, but with Godzilla.
I did not understand what happened there, and I think I think it could have helped to know that Godzilla is like radiation sensitive. Maybe that was a throwaway line in this movie. I don't remember.
Sure.
Well,
but,
he recharges with radiation, so like
that does make sense.
Yeah,
makes sense. I don't think this movie ever said that, but it makes sense in theory. Yeah. So, I will give the movie credit for that making sense within its own lore, just not to me because I hadn't seen other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, so the other question I have about 2001 Godzilla.
Yep.
What does Brian Tyree Henry's character look like? Bernie Hayes, podcaster. Who's he?
So he's probably a late night AM radio host.
Yep. Or like
his podcast didn't exist
2001. It could have been a blogger or like a Matt Drudge type.
That's true.
Yeah, if they were trying the same thing of let's make him hip so he's a podcaster rather than then maybe he would.
He's got a super dangerous Angelfire page.
Yeah, baby. Part of some really sketchy blog rings.
his fucking message boards. Oh, no. Like,
yeah, that would have
his
been
live journal is taking down government agencies. So.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Godzilla versus Kong versus Zanga. Oh my god. Ultimate showdown. Whoever wins, we win.
God damn it. Yeah, okay. So Julianne Moore, I think, is perfect casting, by the way. For that.
Yeah, right?
For that
that's just her character from The Lost World, just again in the King Kong movie.
Yep. Actually, that's probably why it wouldn't be her, though, because she already did.
Wait,
when was The Lost World? That was
2003?
2003, so it was actually after this.
Ooh. So she would have been replaced in The Lost World by someone else. Who's Julianne? Right. Who's the most Julianne Moore adjacent actor? These are the real
Laura
questions.
Dern's pretty close.
She's pretty adjacent.
Yeah. She's not too far off.
Oh, wait, no, Jurassic Park 3 was 2001.
Holy shit. Wow. Well, there you go.
So Jurassic Park 3 didn't happen and this movie did.
Yep. Jurassic Park 3 was just King Kong is here now,
let's be honest. That's better for the world. Yeah. I think everyone would agree that that's a better thing.
Yeah.
The movie cover for that just looks like the words Jurassic Park 3 and then it's crossed out and it just says Kong.
We're doing this now.
Yeah. The plot is that King Kong broke onto the set of Jurassic Park 3 and smashed it all up and it was like, and then signed for like, we're making a movie about me.
Where's Denzel? I have a bone to pick with Denzel.
And everyone was like, cool. Hey,
I've got shit on him.
He speaks ASL and he wants us to do a movie about him. We'll do a movie about him. And that's the plot of King Kong from 2001. I think that's really good.
What if King Kong was just trying to extort Denzel?
He's got so much shit on him, man. And Denzel insists that King Kong doesn't have shit on him, but he knows deep
he has
down.
so much shit on him.
Like every couple months, he just tweets, "King Kong don't have shit on me." It's like, Denzel, what do you want?
King Kong keeps getting his emails like, "Hey man, I got some webcam video of you watching porn, so you better pay me some money." It's like, you ain't got shit on me.
Amazing.
Anyway, sorry, that was such a great.
No, it's just like King Kong cyber hacker.
Just has his readers on as he's typing.
or he's got those gunner glasses.
Yeah. Takes eye health seriously.
Shit. Okay. So what's some other casting we could? Well, okay. So they would of course do it in CGI because they can't help themselves. Even in 2001, because '98, the Godzilla, no matter how shitty it looked and how many people made fun of it,
you're right.
It was a big deal. Would it be the '98 Godzilla, or would they try and reboot completely?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Because the '98 Godzilla, while it made money, was hated by a lot of people, and that's the reason there was never a sequel for it.
Yeah. Well, that's
a good question.
Maybe it is the '98 Godzilla, and the point is we want to see Kong beat the shit out of him.
Ooh, maybe.
Yeah, it's like like a Scrappy Doo phenomenon where like America just want to see Godzilla fall, and they want their icon King Kong to take him down, and it's kind of a power fantasy for us.
Oh, guys, you know what I just realized?
Tell.
Godzilla versus Kong in 2001. In New York City would almost definitely have a scene where they're fighting on the World Trade Center.
Oof. Yeah,
it really depends what month this movie comes out, huh?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah. Like, would it get pulled from theaters? Like,
oh God.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
If it, no matter what
that is
city
such
it was in,
point.
actually.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because you can't have one of those without buildings falling down.
Yeah.
Godzilla cannot exist in a movie without knocking down a building. You're
and King Kong can't exist in a movie without climbing up.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's iconically him.
And in New York, especially, like they would do the Empire State, but they would update it and be the World Trade Center.
Oh my God, no!
Of course they would.
Oh, of course they would, especially because one of them could climb either one and then fight on top.
And
Just
the other
for
one
fun.
can knock down one tower into the other tower to knock Kong off of it.
And while jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams, Godzilla fuel does.
Godzilla fire could melt the shit out of those steel beams.
Sure does. Wow. Wow. That is such a good point. And I feel like this year is going to be really good for this context. because we're going to think a lot about September
9/11, like
11.
every time it comes up this year. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a very good point.
No, but you know what?
20 years,
That's interesting. Putting it in a different, like if we did a, just going to rewind all that business.
Mm-hmm.
Every movie that's made now that's supposed to take place in 2020 or 2021 has to answer the question, what do we do about the pandemic? Do we pretend it didn't happen, or do we put everybody in masks? Like, what do we do? Do we just never set anything in this year and a half?
Yeah.
Like,
do we just set it on another planet like this movie does?
Like just get it out of here. Exactly. Ha ha ha. Head tap, head tap. I think 9/11 is similar. Like, if you put a movie around that time, you got to think about it, and if you don't, that's irresponsible in and of itself. But yeah.
Well, in the 90s were big for disaster movies in a way that I think the 2000s really weren't, because after 9/11, a lot of American audiences would see buildings falling down, and there was like a genuine feeling of like, we have to be super careful about this.
Yeah.
Like infrastructure falling down, you see people falling out of buildings, and they started trying to depict it more as more frightening, more... Like, because in the 90s, you get, like, Independence Day, Mars Attacks even, you get, like, buildings getting blown up and stuff in ways that are,
just
like...
particles.
Yeah, exactly. It's so ludicrous looking.
Yeah.
And people survive these gigantic explosions that they almost certainly wouldn't, but it's because they have plot armor on. And they can destroy, like, entire halves of cities, and no one really gets that hurt, or we don't think about the human cost. After 2001, they couldn't really do that anymore. They have to at least account for the innocent people getting killed, because we've all seen what it looks like when a building of that size comes down.
Yep.
And what happens. So I think it would be even more somewhat over the top. I think obviously with time, it's gotten to be to the point where now we're like, disaster movies are coming back. Disaster movies have over the last 10 years come back. Big action set pieces, and obviously the Marvel series is known for destroying cities, but they also have to reckon with that destruction in a way that they probably wouldn't have in the 90s.
Yeah.
They probably just wouldn't have even come up. They would have destroyed a bunch of buildings, and then the next movie everything would have been fine and no one would have...
Yeah, because they were set piece, not part of life.
It's not the world, it's just a thing. It's a background.
Yeah.
So, on the one hand, it'll probably be a lot sillier. Even as silly as this movie is, they'll be like extra dumb about it.
The one thing that I think would change, without a shadow of a doubt, is one of my favorite lines from this movie. Little kid doing some computer stuff, trying to guess passwords, and his friend Bernie is like, "Hey, what are you doing? Hey, you said you knew about this stuff." And the kid is like, "Yeah, I took an HTML course at summer camp." And Bernie's like, HTML? And then the kid's like, yeah, it's summer camp. And Bernie says, was it a 90s camp? And that just was such a good burn on this kid learning
the line?
HTML. It was. I went back because I wanted to transcribe it.
Because I remember him saying, like, when he was trying to hack something, and what did he say? He said, like for torrenting movies or something like that.
That was,
like it was
a previous thing. He was like, I don't do this. I only use this for pirating movies online. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That was a
Because I was going to be
different
like, well, then
computer
that
he
doesn't
was trying to
transfer at all. Like,
No.
you literally have to know nothing about computers to do that.
No, that was perfect. Yeah. No,
Well, unless you got
that line just has to change to HTML. That's a great modern computer language. And that's
HTML, what's that?
HTML.
You're ahead of the curve, kid.
Yeah, and that kid turns out to be
What
Bill
section
Gates.
of the library is that in? Like some kind of weird techno babble, like all you kids with your internet.
Yeah, show me in the Dewey Decimal System where HTML is.
Yes, that's the stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, we've already determined. So I guess who would be the male lead? Because there'd have to be a male lead because it's 2001, and you can't have a Godzilla versus Kong movie where the lead character is a woman.
Can't.
In 2001, It's a very male-centric franchise.
Probably still Kyle Chandler.
Yeah.
Who?
Probably still Kyle Chandler.
Hell yeah, dog. Kyle.
He was doing early
When
edition
was-
back then, I think.
When was that show that he was on where
Early
he could
edition?
see...
Friday
was
Night
that?
Lights?
No, yeah. The one where he got the
Newspaper?
next day's newspaper so he could
Oh,
stop
yeah.
crimes
Oh my
before
God.
they happen and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That
Early
was
edition,
1996, 2001, so he would have just been coming off that series.
Wow, yeah, this would have been his big movie transition.
Yeah, baby. Huh.
I'd watch that. Shit,
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think the only way that it could be a female lead is if they were playing intentionally visually referencing the like iconic images of King Kong carrying a woman.
Yes,
Away.
that's exactly what it would be.
But that woman would be cool now. But in a 2001 way, which would probably mean that she just like had a gun in one scene and like shot it.
well,
or something. I don't
even
know.
in Kong Skull Island, you've got Brie Larson, but Tom Hiddleston is really the lead of the movie in most ways. I would say that's fair,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He's the man of action sort of character. And that would have to be in this movie. It's kind of like Alexander Skarsgård, I guess. But
It's hard
he's
to
also,
actually
like,
say if
played
there's
as
a
such like a nerd. That
Yeah,
it's
I
kinda
really
fun.
like that. I don't think there's a lead human character.
Yes,
Like
I
there,
agree.
you could make the argument that it's Rebecca Hall. You could make the argument that it's Skarsgård, but like it doesn't feel like either of them.
No. Hall would be the closest, I think, just in terms of screen time.
Yeah, and honestly, in terms of like connection to all the other characters and emotional impact, like I think if there's a center of the human stories, it's her. But
And she has the most knowledge about the history of these two creatures
Also
for
true.
some reason.
yeah, she just does, man.
Here's a question I have.
left.
Have they been to the Hollow Earth before?
Kong and it's
No, the humans.
It
Because-
sounded like every time they tried, people died.
yeah, no, I think the
Right,
answer's
okay.
no. Yeah.
Because they've got that big tunnel, and they've got all the machines.
And they tried,
to
but
do
they
it.
got squished. They covered
Okay.
that. The guy said
Scar-
he was like,
Yeah, no, I
my
do
brother
remember
tried
that.
to go in, but he died because he got squished."
I was just like, how do they know like this is going to work this time? Like it's so
Right.
crazy.
Well, and that's Alexander Skarsgård the whole time. He's like, "Well, wait till you see what comes next." You're just like, "How do you know?
how do you know?
You've never been here."
He doesn't. That's the whole point. Is you're trusting that King Kong knows, and you
Right.
don't. That was the whole
Yeah.
point of getting
Yeah.
him and
But he's acting like he's been there
helicoptering him
before.
across the winter wastelands. Is that you have no idea what's coming, and you're trusting this monkey to lead, and he did. He did. a
all
great
of that, all of that was worth it for the Sistine Chapel moment between King Kong and a mountain. It's incredible. That's art right there.
job. That's all right there, baby.
It's art, baby. 2001 Godzilla vs. Kong probably wouldn't be art. Might make some money though.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably okay.
I'd buy it.
You guys want to go to another content?
I want to go.
Excuse me. Would you guys like to move on to another context?
Why, yes, Christian.
Yes.
I would very much, deeply like to do that.
Okay. All right. Okay. This movie is, I think, perfect for this context. This is record scratch moments. There are so many great record scratch moments in this movie.
Oh no.
And it starts early. And I think the first big one is when Kong throws the tree into the sky and like that fucking panel falls out. And it's like he's in a fucking simulated island.
Now, do we want to define real quick what we mean by record scratch moments? Because we ran into this problem before that we didn't really.
That's a very good point. Okay. So I can think of two particular definitions of record scratch moments. One are moments that like that you go like, hold up, what? And the other one, which I think was the original idea for the context, was it's like at
In
the
media
start
res.
of a movie, it's like an in media res opening
Yep.
to a movie where then it pauses and he goes, "You might be wondering how I got here."
That's exactly what I think that it means. But we
Okay.
can do both if we want to do like 5 minutes of one and then 5 minutes of another, because there are plenty of both in this movie.
Okay. So let's start with like what would be the good cold open for the movie in terms of like an in media res moment in the movie that would lead the audience to be like, "What?" Like,
Okay. Yeah.
What would the best version of that in this movie be?
Let's see. I think it's Godzilla fighting his way around, and then he starts lighting up, and he looks down at the ground for some dang reason, and he starts shooting into the middle of the ground, and then it goes, and then Godzilla looks up and he's like, I bet you're wondering how I got into this situation.
Voiced by Cookie Monster himself.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is my offering to you as a pretty good,
That's good.
what the hell is going on here, and how are we going to explain why Godzilla is just shooting the ground with his laser breath? I like that one.
I like the idea of that spot especially, but what I would end it with is like he blows the hole, and then as the dust settles, you see Kong's face, and it's like, oh shit, Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah, you see it down there. You see it like you
Yeah,
look
like,
all
it
the way
looks
down
the hole, all the way on the other side of the because they look at each other, they make eye contact.
They look through the hole, baby. Amazing. I love that. Okay, that's good. That's pretty good.
Yeah. It could be the first time in the... Okay, so, you know, at the end of the movie, before Godzilla gets back up to help fight Mechagodzilla, when, like, he's down for the count and it looks like it's over for him?
Yeah, he done.
Like, right at that moment where he's down for the count and, like, and drops and, like, oh shit, does Kong die in this movie? I don't know, let's start from the beginning.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a good tease. That's a good tease.
Yeah. And
Did
what I
Kong
like...
lose?
Does he lose? I like in that moment you zoom. It's a slow zoom, very sad, very still. Not much audio going on, and then it stops, and Godzilla turns to the camera and says, "Oh, does Kong die in this movie? Find out."
So every version of this has to end with Godzilla looking down the barrel of the
Specifically
camera
Godzilla.
and talking to
Yeah,
to the
I agree.
audience.
I think you're absolutely right, Christian. It does need to do that.
Oh yeah,
Christian,
this is
Christian,
my idea.
Yeah, that was a good idea, Christian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great
thanks.
idea, Christian.
Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks.
It's funny because some of the stuff that would be the most actually impressive or shocking is like the little girl interacting with giant King Kong. But I don't think those are particularly cinematically good as an opening. Because like if I walk outside and I saw that, I'd be like, oh no, record scratching myself right now. But for this movie in particular, those aren't actually that good because they don't present as many questions. Like Godzilla blasting into the middle of the zone or King Kong being dead.
Here's one.
Okay.
When King Kong leaps in such a way where it looks like he's about to like just stop, and then he just keeps going, and it's like, what?
Yeah. No,
Just
no,
the
no.
complete physics confusion.
Yeah.
Here we go. King Kong is in the Hollow Earth. He's running around. He fights that big flying guy. He rips his head off, drink the blood, puts it down, and it looks into the camera and says, pretty good.
Jesus.
And then Godzilla pops down from... No, he doesn't. But I do like the opening just being Kong running around on Hollow Earth for some dang reason. Because that stuff is all so weird looking.
Yeah.
Like,
Like the Sistine Chapel shot could be the record sketch moment.
yeah.
I can't get over it. It's so audacious, and I love it so. It's like, how many other movies have that kind of moment? Like, how often does the Sistine Chapel like thing? Because it's so cliche, but
Yeah.
also like, it circles back around to being incredible.
Yeah. It's like like a bad example is like Zack Snyder having Superman and Man of Steel like go above the earth and like do the Christ pose and then
Yes.
Yep.
yeah.
At least this
Not
one, it's
good.
a giant monkey and a mountain shaped like a hand.
Yeah.
I wanted King Kong to Christ pose a little bit more than he did. That was a big letdown for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because to me, he was the Jesus figure of this movie. That's
And honestly, he's the closest to a Christ figure I think this movie has.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely
Which is
right.
weird.
yeah. It's
I
more
think
Christ figure than Simon in Lord of the Flies. Fuck that book. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. To round out this half of the conversation, I do think it's worth mentioning that the best record scratch moment for this movie is the one employed by this movie, where Kong wakes up, Homer Simpson style, and then makes a javelin And we're like, wait, what's he doing? Like, what's he up to? Like, is
And he
he
just
is it a
throws it.
toothpick? Is he gonna get in a fight? Like, what's gonna happen? And then he just chucks it, and we're like, what's he gonna kill a cloud? Who's this guy? And then it busts through his Truman Show shell, and bam, he's in Fiji, baby, and we're watching the movie. It was amazing. I really liked that. And they
That was
literally
genuinely
did.
a moment
They
where I was
did.
like, oh, okay, I'm locked
Yeah.
into what this movie is doing
Yeah.
now. Because what?
Yeah, it captured.
What?
It got me. Even though it really didn't like matter a ton, it was a good
No.
use of that record scratch technique to get me into it.
No, and I'm already forgetting why he was in that containment facility.
Who knows?
I know they were protecting him from Godzilla.
From Godzilla, I guess.
I think that was it.
Yeah, that was the only reason.
That was
Okay.
it.
Well, because the island had been hit by a tsunami, and all the villagers that were like in the movie
Oh, yeah,
Skull
they
Island,
got-
I forgot about
they were
that.
killed, and
You're
so
right,
he had
I
like
forgot
no.
about
Yeah, I don't
He
know.
had no friends except for little Gia.
Except the little girl.
Aw, little baby. Yeah,
Little baby. Okay.
but now
I think those are all good options. Now let's just talk about fucking insane moments that would like make a person pause the movie and scratch their records.
it's so weird to try to like every one of them.
I mean, this movie is just chock-a-block full of them.
The people in this movie barely make sense. And so it's hard to pick out a moment in this movie to go like, oh yeah, that's where people act weird or are in a weird situation. It's like, of course, it's all the time. But not quite enough that any stand out to me in particular.
I mean, obviously, when Mechagodzilla shows up, it's like, what? That's a pretty great moment.
Yeah, just the idea of Mechagodzilla, pretty fun, pretty cool. Yeah, that's not bad. They go into the little sacrifice zone where Mechagodzilla trains and kills those things, and we see the enemy come out, and then maybe we hear Mechagodzilla, but we don't see him yet, and then it record scratches, and it's like, I bet you're wondering how I got into this trash pit, and then it somehow goes to an episode of his podcast because Bernie is the one that's saying it, and then it like cuts to an episode of his podcast that's about Titans in some way. There's a way to work it in.
Oh, sure.
It could work.
Okay. Yeah, I can get behind that.
Maybe no, that doesn't work either. I was thinking Bernie when he's trying to do the hacking thing when he's in that Apex lab and he's talking to that security guard and he's trying to get him to leave by saying all that weird stuff about his hand sanitizer.
Oh,
Like
I loved that.
All that was very funny. And I think that's like an example, but that would have had to be happening later in the movie to be a true record scratch. Because again, that's at the beginning. It's when we are wondering why he got into that and we don't know yet.
What I kind of loved about that moment is like, and then like retroactively was kind of confused by is I thought that they were setting it up that he does all that crazy stuff and it gets the guy to leave the room,
Yeah.
and it turns out, haha, that was his plan all along.
Right.
All along was to make this guy uncomfortable so he would leave.
Yeah.
And so he could like hack the shit.
Yeah.
But like then he just is as crazy as he pretended to be in that scene because he like drinks bleach and shit. Like it's not that was like a ploy to get someone
Right.
to leave him alone. It's just that he's that weird.
It was him leaning into the fact that he already is that way. The twist was that he was doing it so that guy would leave, but also just because he's that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just-
that is interesting.
It's really funny.
Huh.
Oh. When the guy takes the $10 bill out of his hand, that's a record scratch moment.
And he turns to the camera and he says, I bet you're wondering how I got this $10 bill.
Oh, he's not played by Cookie Monster?
No, only Godzilla is played by Cookie Monster.
I'm sorry.
Obviously, Godzilla
What if
sounds like
Godzilla
Cookie
took the
Monster.
$10 bill though?
Godzilla wants that $10 bill. That's probably what he really wants. Why he's burning
Sell
down
the
all these
Hamiltons.
factories. He's looking for $10.
Yeah, looking
Just
for
want
those
$10,
hammies.
man.
Yeah.
Sweet, sweet hammies.
Yeah. Do you guys want to do another context?
Yeah.
Yeah, dog.
Make it a musical. We're gonna make Godzilla vs. Kong into a musical.
Yeah, we are.
We sure fucking are.
Okay.
This movie had some interesting needle drops. So yeah, I think Blue Orchid was in there. Boy.
Yeah. What's the song that opens with Kong just like chilling before he throws the...
Fuck, I can't remember, but it was really good. It was funny that they used it. Shit.
It's like, what if he was singing that?
Okay, this is the question we have to answer first. Okay. Are Kong and Godzilla going to be singing any of these songs?
Yes.
They are. Okay.
Yes, but only in like
grunts and groans?
In bubbles. What was the word you just said?
Grunts and groans?
Yeah, oh wow, that would be amazing. but it's like fully scored, and and the rest of the characters sing as well, and then Godzilla goes like, oh,
it's a performance piece. It's all done through blocking. The communication's done through the blocking.
It's blocking. It's cinematography. It's amazing. I think they can, but I think it's kind of like a Calvin and Hobbes effect. Like they only sing for us, the audience. They don't actually sing, but we get the musical magic. Is that we get to see what they're feeling and thinking through song. And then we zoom back into the reality in which they do not speak or sing.
It's like that musical number that Sally Hawkins does in The Shape of Water.
Yeah.
Precisely. I think it is exactly like that.
Nice.
In fact, I think they should recreate that exact scene with Godzilla and Kong.
With Godzilla and Kong, exactly. Not
doing that dance.
Doing that dance.
I want Rebecca Hall to have a dream where it's black and white. You got Kong on one side, Godzilla on the other. They start fucking dancing.
Yeah, they both have like some ill-fitting tuxes on and little top hats.
Absolutely.
Yay! And then all of a sudden there's 30 Godzillas and they're all doing kicks and then they jump into a pool. Oh,
chorus
perfect.
line.
This is incredible.
You get it. This is great. Wow. What kind of music are we thinking? Do we want to go like classic, big Broadway musical? Do we want to go like more modern, like Rocky kind of musical? Do we want to go Hamilton style hip hop music?
Oh God, no, I don't. No offense to Hamilton. Hamilton's great, but I don't think this movie needs that.
No, I don't know if it would go very well.
I'm imagining that the first song in this movie is called "I'm Bustin' Out" and it's by King Kong. I actually think all the songs in this movie are sung by King Kong or Godzilla. I think no one sings but them.
So in this reality, not only do the monsters have their own like entire ecosystem, they also have the ability to break out into song that only they can hear and see and do, and the humans have no fucking way to know.
Precisely.
It's like whale song, but it's actual song.
But it's like really catchy bangers. Yeah.
So that song, I'm coming out, but it's I'm busting out.
Yeah.
The world I'm busting out.
Could be good.
Could be good. I'd watch it.
I think King Kong does a lot of snapping in his numbers.
Oh, because he's got the thumbs.
Yeah, because he's got thumbs.
Yeah,
and I think Godzilla maybe takes that as an affront.
That's why they're fighting.
Exactly.
Oh, my God.
Because King Kong's like, hey, bud, what's up? Nice day out
here. Trying to do a Jetson Sharks West Side Story thing, and Godzilla can't fucking snap. He gets pissed off.
Just blasts him with his little Godzilla breath.
Yeah, it's not only a musical. It references other musicals like West Side Story. And Kong starts doing the Jetson Sharks snap, and it's like, uh-oh, what's up? It's me, West Side Story. I don't remember how that song goes. And Godzilla starts to try to do it too, but he can't. And King Kong starts laughing, and then they fight. I think...
it's almost like a musical parody.
It's both.
Of other musicals.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. Because it would be very, very hard, not impossible, but very, very hard to get musical theater fans on board for a movie musical that was King Kong and Godzilla singing, but not any people. And I think one step towards it being just a funny idea in a maybe more almost like a Matt and Trey Parker kind of idea. Is that their names? Like yeah. Almost in that kind of musical way where it's like, this is funny. This is supposed to be funny.
This is funny.
Funny.
So laugh.
Yeah, laugh. The songs will be catchy. The songs will be cool. But like it will be a little bit referential to the rest of musical theater in a fun way.
Yeah, we're just kind of borrowing from the movie itself, where instead of making just a fully serious monsters fighting each other movie, they made it kind of silly, which made it better.
Exactly.
What if? What if the Hollow Earth is an entire realm that is constantly in song?
Yes. Yes, 100%.
And
It's like Wizard
that
of Oz.
That tunnel that the humans made in order to try and go into the Hollow Earth has caused some of that music to seep out into the world. And then when Godzilla blasts that hole down into the Hollow Earth to get to Kong, it just like comes spurting out.
So much music is released.
Yep.
Or if there's like a heavy wind, it's like one of those little tuning things that somebody blows into, and then everybody's like, everybody just pitches with it, and then starts singing.
Exactly. That's how they represent it. It's like the happening. It's the wind. But it's a musical.
No. That's good. That's good.
And that's what encourages them to come together to fight Mechagodzilla, because Mechagodzilla can't hear the music. Mechagodzilla can't sing. So there's all this music happening, and then King Kong and Godzilla realize, oh, this is a thing we share, but this fucker can't do it.
Yep, because music comes from the heart. He doesn't have one.
He doesn't have one.
Here's the angle.
What's the angle?
Mechagodzilla does have music, but Mechagodzilla has dubstep.
Yeah. So he doesn't have music.
Exactly. I think that's the argument that this movie makes, and it does not pull punches. It is the thesis of Kong. What is this movie called? Godzilla versus Kong? That's what it's called?
Correct.
I can never
Yes.
remember. There's so
It
many.
is weird how many times you have
I have
said
said
that
King
the movie is just
Kong.
called Kong.
Or Kong or Godzilla. Like, I know this one's called Godzilla versus Kong, but I forgot
Right.
that we were trying to do this movie in 2001. It's fine.
It's fine.
Oh, that was the context.
The,
Sorry.
the
That was
thesis,
the old context.
the thesis of this movie, if it's a musical, is dubstep isn't music and we need to kill it. And we need to get back to how music used to be. Like, I think that's the whole idea. And I think Mechagodzilla comes out with DJ headphones on. He's raving it up. He's got all this sort of like RGB computer gamer effects where like his body's glowing to the beat, and he's like playing League of Legends while also playing Fortnite while also destroying New York or Hong Kong. I think they were, whatever, wherever they were, and cities. And they have to kill him because of that, because he's a disgrace to music, not because he's evil in some other way, but because his music taste just sucks so much, and they have to.
Well, and like if we're doing the Hollow Earth is musical land kind of thing, then maybe like dubstep is like pollution that is like poisoning the air in the Hollow Earth, and so they need to take him down.
Yeah, and so what do you think? Do you think Kong is more of a Beatles and Godzilla is more of a Rolling Stones?
Ooh.
I think
Those are the only two types of music
Those are the
that aren't
two
dubstep.
other types of
That's
music.
very
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
I think Godzilla's like a Pink Floyd.
Godzilla's Pink Floyd.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Godzilla
and,
represents a kind of psychedelic 70s rock.
That's true. He's
And
got the
King Kong
bioluminescence.
is classic Big Bang or Big Band, not Big
I
Bang.
think classic Big Bang.
I mean, he's a real classic Big Bang.
He
if
sure
if you
is.
catch my drift.
Oh, yeah.
But I think Big Band. I mean, that could also
Yeah.
be because of when the original King Kong came out. But
But I think that's fair. And it's a really easy genre of music to incorporate in a musical. So I think
that's
that
what a
works
lot of Broadway musicals use.
really well. Exactly. Yeah. That's awesome. Oh, I love that. Wow. Oh, no. This is the thing that we have designed has so many moving parts. This just became
As many
such
moving
a
parts as the
complex.
movie already has, we just added like 5 layers
we
on
didn't
top of
change
it.
anything about it. We just added things to it.
Yep.
The human parts are all the same. All of
Yep.
that is exactly the same. There's just this
And the humans
internal
have
life.
no idea about
no
any of this
idea.
musical stuff.
It's
It doesn't affect them at all.
No.
It's only the monsters.
It's for us, the audience. We get to love.
And so they like see them singing at each other, and they're like, they're communicating
Oh, they're
somehow.
fighting. We have to turn off our engines. But the reason they had to turn off their engines is because they were bothering Godzilla's cool Pink Floyd jams, not because they were threatening him. They had to turn off the engines because they were too loud and he couldn't listen to his music. That's why he
It
was in
out
the
of
water.
out of tune with his tunes. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so sad. Oh. Wow, this is a really good
And they're
idea.
he and Godzilla and Kong are beefing because Godzilla's trying to get Kong into fish, and Kong just wasn't having it.
And he's like, I kind of get it with the Grateful Dead, but Fish is where you lose me.
Sorry, man. We're gonna fight about this. And then
We're gonna fight.
And then the title of the movie comes up.
Or it's that one SNL sketch about the two guys fighting about Weezer, which I actually was thinking about today. Anyway, I think this would also be maybe the most definitive version of a movie musical that could not possibly be adapted for the stage. But they would definitely try, and it would lose a lot of money.
Yeah, you're very right. A good Lion King style, maybe.
Like they could try.
Big puppet, that'd be cool.
Oh, they could try.
They could try.
Man, I love a big puppet.
They would
it's so cool.
try. I do like big puppets.
I love big puppet.
I can't lie.
No. You sure
I cannot lie
can't,
about liking big puppets. Well, hey guys, we did it. We talked about Godzilla versus Kong. Congratulations.
Oh,
we did
my goodness.
We did the work of Titans today.
True.
We took on the titanic task of talking about this 2021 movie.
Dang it.
I couldn't think of another T. Oh, man. Through 4 various contexts, we did, what did we do? We did,
we put
record
an
scratch moments.
Anthropomorphic animal.
Right, we did the anthropomorphic.
Yeah. We made this movie in 2001.
Yes, and then we made it a musical. Oh, wow, we actually got it.
Ow, wow, wow.
I'm glad you guys had those, because I really could only remember, like, 2.
Hey, as long as we all remember 2, then we remember 2 we didn't even do, because there's 6 altogether. Makes sense.
2 different... Yeah,
as long as we remember 2
it.
different ones, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I thought about it.
Matt checks
I'm
out,
thinking
baby.
about it.
Hollow Earth, think about it.
That's what the
in the
thesis statement
earth.
of this movie is. Hollow Earth, think about it.
Hey, just think you know what? I will say, I got to put this out there. This movie validates conspiracy theorists in a way that made me a little bit uncomfortable.
Yes.
It was
I
funny,
was waiting for the turn.
but
Yep.
yeah, I
It
was like,
never really
no,
came.
they're just sort of saying that this guy is right about everything a little bit.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
that's too
fluoride-
bad.
The fluoride and water
Yeah.
thing really bugged me.
Yeah.
Really bugged me.
Yeah.
Because they
That's
really,
some
those are
bullshit.
the heroes that were right about the Godzilla stuff, and they don't ever
Now-
come around to being wrong about all of the other stuff that
They do show them being kind of like dumb and bumbling sometimes, or like overthinking some things that, like the straight man character who is played by, why do I always forget his name?
Dennison.
Julian Dennison.
Yeah, Julian.
Yeah,
Julian Dennison, like he's like basically pointing out like, you guys are fucking crazy.
That's very true.
Constantly. And then the things that they're right about are like kind of tangential to them being right. They like stumble upon the right
Yeah.
thing.
Well, that's what's so weird about all those characters is they don't like do things
Yeah.
in the movie. They just see them so that we can
Yeah.
see them. They are the lenses. They don't do things.
They're
So-
the audience surrogates.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and it kind of, I was like, dang, you know what? It's too bad that, like, the movie just kind of platformed it and then just let it sit there. Like, that was kind of too bad to me.
I don't know why it didn't occur to me until I'm looking at the cast list just now that the villain was Damian Bashir. Mm-hmm. Who I would be able to tell you what else I know him from, but
Yeah, would you?
literally clicking on it doesn't work on my phone. So that's fucking cool.
By the way, I really like that we've done 2 Julian Dennison movies this year.
Yeah,
I
without
know.
really meaning to. I didn't
want
even know he was
more.
going to be in this.
Yeah, he's the best.
Absolutely. Kid's fucking killing it.
Yes.
Yeah. We only have time left for a few things. David, did you have anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, dude. Hypotheticast, it's a show. I'm on it. There's 2 other people on it, too. And we make it every single week just for you. We just got finished.
Just for me?
Just for Christian. Actually, yeah. If you want to sign up for the non-Christian cut, you can. But it's like way worse.
Non-Christian cut of
It's not as the
Hypotheticast.
secular cut, if you will. It's not as funny, and it's not as good, and it's not as long, and it doesn't make sense. But you can, if you want, go to hypotheticast.club. You can find all our episodes there, the non-Christian versions at least.
Right.
If you want if you want the holy version, well, you got to pay up, baby.
The ones just deeply rooted in biblical fact
Absolutely, so many angels.
that we can all agree on.
It's a true book, and we all read it, and we all love it.
Any updates on if the Fable Forge is coming back at all?
Yeah, we are. We are working on season 3 right now. We had multiple pivots because of multiple pandemics and events, and it's been a whole year for everyone, and our cast has been in a little bit of flux, but we are doing it, and we're actually almost done recording season 3, and we'll start producing it soon.
Wow.
So within this year you should see some. So the Fable Forge, I don't know, go subscribe to it now so that when it drops you won't be sad.
Yeah. Fantastic.
You're missing out. FOMO, baby.
Yeah, that's David, that's your lovely D&D podcast.
It is lovely, and it is D&D, and it is a podcast. Right. However, this season we are not playing D&D in particular. We are playing a system called Iron Sworn.
Iron Sworn.
Who's Iron Sworn? It's not a pirate.
Iron Sworn. Aw, man.
Sorry.
I'm out. Just kidding, I'm in.
Congrats. Oh.
Matthew, do you have anything you would like to plug?
No. But a bit of pop culture that I would like to pass off or recommend is actually something I haven't watched in its entirety before, but I'm really excited to actually dive in. But the Tartakovsky Clone Wars animated series finally dropped on Disney Plus, and I've only seen clips of it, but they fucking rule. Mm-hmm. We watched, I think, the Kit Fisto clip a while back, and it's just insane. So yeah, if you want some like Samurai Jack style, like Jedi battles and crap, and just insane visuals and everything, check out Tartakovsky's Clone Wars on Disney Plus.
Awesome, very cool.
Yeah, Christian, how about you?
Thanks, bud. Well, my best of 2020 playlist is still up on Spotify. My 2021 playlist is moving along at a good clip. Several new albums came out in the last couple of weeks that are definitely worth checking out. I can't think of any of them off the top of my head right now, though, so you're just going to have to figure it out for yourselves. Fend for yourselves. The wilderness is, it's a dark and terrifying place, and sometimes there are monsters. All right, folks. Well, thank you for tuning in. That leaves us with just one thing we have to do, and it's the same thing we have to do every week. It's our burden to bear. It's the task given to us by our ancient ancestors who fought in a great war so that we could be here today, so that I could ask this question, which is, David, do you have any final thoughts you would like to leave us with?
What if the festive campaign ate the white?
Thank you for listening to Contextual Deviants. You can find more information about us online at our website, contextualdeviants.wordpress.com. You can tweet at us at textdeviants. You can email us at contextualdeviants@gmail.com. Thanks to Minneapolis' own The Badman for the use of their song Gun Tonic off the album Ain't Clean. This has been Contextual Deviants. My name is Christian Hagen, and have a nice day.
Have a nice day!